I want to say this is our first loss. It wasn't, a one possession game. So I don't think it's necessarily not playing well here. This is obviously our home, the best place to play, but just tonight it just wasn't there.
Jalen Brunson just said something that has Knicks fans really worried. The team is deep in the playoffs, and his words felt like a sign that something's wrong. But while all eyes are on the court, something unexpected is happening across the world. Something that has fans wondering if this season is part of a bigger story. Here's what's really going on. The New York Knicks are 2 wins away from doing something they haven't done in over 2 decades, reaching the Eastern Conference Finals. But as strange as it sounds, some fans believe divine intervention is in play. And it's coming from the Vatican. Yes, the newly elected Pope Leo XIV, a known basketball admirer, has inadvertently become the latest symbol of hope for Knicks fans. Why? Because 3 of the team's biggest stars, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges, all played at Villanova too. Is it fate? Is it a sign? Or is it just another chapter in the emotional roller coaster that comes with being a Knicks fan? But in New York, fans saw something else entirely. Social media lit up with jokes, memes, and hopeful speculation. The common thread? C1 fan tweeted. Even in Rome, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges helped Villanova win national championships. Now they're chasing a different kind of ring. To fans who've waited since 1973 for another title, this felt like more than coincidence. Spike Lee even chimed in, calling it a holy blessing. The Knicks didn't limp into the playoffs, they charged in. Finishing 3rd in the East, they took down a tough Philadelphia 76ers squad in the first round. But it's this series against the Boston Celtics that has tested them most. After taking a surprising 2-0 lead, thanks to clutch performances from Bridges and Brunson, the Knicks seem to be in control. They won both games on the road, stealing home court from a team many thought would cruise to the finals.
They've won it! New York has gone up 2 games to none!
But then came Game 3. The Celtics didn't just respond, they dominated. At Madison Square Garden, Boston handed New York a 115-93 loss. It wasn't just a bad game, it was a reality check. The Knicks trailed big early, and they never recovered. The starting 5 were outscored by nearly 30 points. Their shooting was cold, turnovers were high, and the energy just wasn't there. Even the crowd, usually electric at the Garden, seemed stunned. After the game, head coach Tom Thibodeau was direct. They got confidence early. We didn't respond. Jalen Brunson was just as straightforward. I don't think we came with the mindset of being satisfied, but I think it was just subconsciously satisfied being up 2-0. Just not the way we needed to approach the game.
They got the lead early. I thought we missed some shots early that impacted us, and they got confidence early in the game.
Josh Hart added, they were desperate, and we weren't. Tonight's Game 4 isn't technically a must-win, but it feels like it. If the Knicks go up 3-1, they head back to Boston with a chance to close out. But if the Celtics tie the series, everything resets, and momentum shifts hard in their favor. The Knicks have rarely held the lead in this series. That's not sustainable. If they want to advance, they'll need more than just effort. They'll need execution. Here's the twist that no one saw coming. The Knicks have been better on the road than at home. At Madison Square Garden, they're just 1-3 in the playoffs. That's a problem. The Garden is supposed to be a fortress. Instead, it's become a pressure cooker. And as the team returns for Game 4, the question becomes, can they turn the energy of the crowd into an advantage? Fans will show up. That's never the issue. But what the Knicks need now is to play like the moment belongs to them. Not just survive it, own it. Boston came into this postseason with a chip on its shoulder. After last year's collapse in the conference finals, this team is hungry. Jaylen Brown said it best, you gotta beat us 4 times. That's the mindset they brought in Game 3, and that's what the Knicks need to match tonight. Jason Tatum, often criticized for not showing up in big games, responded with a solid performance, and their bench outplayed the Knicks' second unit by a wide margin. Game 4 will be a test of character. Who wants it more? If you're a longtime Knicks fan, you've seen this movie before. Fast starts, sudden stumbles, and dreams dashed in the second round. But this season feels different. It's not just about talent, it's about chemistry. Brunson, Hart, and Bridges don't just play well, they play for each other. And in a city that values grit as much as glamour, they've become fan favorites. That connection is why the Pope story went viral. It's why fans see meaning in every Villanova highlight and Vatican photo op. Because for the first time in a long time, hope feels real. The Knicks haven't reached the Eastern Conference Finals since 2000. For a team with this much history and this much heartbreak, that's a long drought. Winning this series would change everything. It would validate the front office decisions. It would solidify Brunson as a franchise cornerstone. And it would give fans something they haven't had in decades: belief. But it won't come easy. The Celtics are battle-tested. They've been here before, and they're not giving anything away. Game 4 is where the series swings, one way or the other. Back in Rome, Pope Leo XIV probably isn't watching every possession. But in New York, every bounce, every shot, every turnover will feel like life or death. Whether or not you believe in signs, the connection between this Knicks team and the new Pope is a reminder of what sports do best. They give us stories. And right now, this story has a city believing again. Tonight, the Knicks have a chance to take control of their destiny. And if they do, it might just feel like the basketball gods, or someone higher, are finally smiling on New York. Because in this city, hope dies hard. And sometimes it wears orange and blue. If you're a Knicks fan or just love a wild sports story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. There's more to this than anyone expected, or LeBron just admitted something fans never expected. This might explain everything that went wrong with the Lakers, and what he said about his injury could change how you see this whole season. After a disappointing 5-game series against the Minnesota Timberwolves, LeBron sat down on the Mind the Game podcast and made something very clear. This loss wasn't about effort, and it wasn't about bad luck. It was about matchups.
It's the matchups, and we ran into a damn good matchup, a team that's been battle-tested, a team that's hungry, a team that a lot of youth, but also experience at the same time. And another team that's trying to make the next step. And, you know, they were a worthy opponent, that's for sure.
Coming from a 4-time NBA champion with 22 seasons under his belt, those words carry weight. The Lakers came into the playoffs as the 3rd seed. Expectations were high, maybe too high. But as the games played out, it became clear that something just wasn't clicking. One of the biggest moves of the season, and one that now faces heavy scrutiny, was the mid-season trade that brought Luka Doncic to Los Angeles. The Lakers gave up Anthony Davis and Max Christie to get him, a blockbuster deal that had fans stunned. At first, the trade seemed brilliant. 2 of the league's most skilled offensive players, LeBron and Luka, sharing the floor. That sounded like a nightmare for any opponent. But beneath the hype was a dangerous hole in the Lakers' lineup. They had no one left to protect the paint. With Davis gone, and after rescinding their trade for Mark Williams, the Lakers were left exposed down low. Jackson Hayes couldn't hold the line, and coach J.J. Redick eventually benched him altogether. The result? Rudy Gobert and the Timberwolves ran wild in the paint, dominating Game 5 and sealing the Lakers' fate. To make matters worse, both of the Lakers' stars were struggling. Luka was dealing with a lingering back injury and had battled illness throughout the series. LeBron, meanwhile, was trying to power through something even more serious, a knee injury he'd kept mostly quiet.
First, how's the knee?
Oh, man, this is my first, in my 22-year career, this is my first knee injury.
Right.
You know, I've had, the regular tendonitis and the patella, all that stuff, but this is the first time I've ever had a sustained knee injury where I had to okay, you got to get off your feet. You got to kind of be shelved for a minute. And
in the same podcast interview, LeBron revealed that he suffered a grade 2 MCL sprain during the 4th quarter of Game 5. I knew as soon as the impact happened with me and Dante DiVincenzo, I felt it right away, he said. My knee locked up. That's why I stayed on the ground for a minute. I was trying to see if the knee would kind of release a little bit. But I knew right then and there that was a pain I hadn't felt before. The injury would have sidelined him for 4 to 6 weeks. Even if the Lakers had pulled off a win, LeBron says he wouldn't have been able to play in Games 6 or 7. That revelation hit hard for fans who had been hoping for a miracle comeback. It also shed light on just how thin the Lakers were stretched. With no Davis, an injured LeBron, and a hobbled Luka, the team was fighting an uphill battle from the start. Coach J.J. Redick, in his first season on the job, now faces a wave of questions. Could he have managed rotations better? Was benching Hayes the right call? Why didn't the front office secure a backup center after the Doncic trade? Redick's decisions are under the microscope, but LeBron isn't pointing fingers. In fact, he backed his coach publicly. Teams win championships, he said. It's a simple statement, but one that says a lot. LeBron seems to be putting the responsibility on the collective. Not just the coach, not just the stars, and not just the front office. Still, the finger-pointing has already begun online. Some blame Luka for not being at full strength. Others question LeBron's leadership and his decision to support the Doncic trade. And many are furious with the front office for gambling on offense at the expense of size and defense. The Timberwolves, to their credit, played a near-flawless series. Anthony Edwards stepped up, Gobert controlled the paint, and the team's speed and athleticism made life miserable for the Lakers. They were young, energetic, and clearly motivated to prove themselves. And that's exactly what they did. As for the Lakers, the future is now filled with question marks. LeBron's contract gives him an option to leave this summer, and retirement rumors are louder than ever. He ended the season averaging 24.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 8.2 assists on over 51% shooting. Numbers that most players would kill for. But at 40 years old, every season takes a heavier toll. James continues to defy the odds at age 40, averaging 24.4 points, 8.2 assists, and 7.8 rebounds on .513 shooting through the end of the fantasy basketball season. He hasn't made any decisions yet, telling fans he'll speak with his family before making any announcements. But make no mistake, the clock is ticking. Meanwhile, Luka Doncic remains one of the league's most gifted offensive players, but conditioning and durability continue to be question marks. If the Lakers are going to build around him, they'll need to reinforce the roster, especially in the front court. And then there's J.J. Redick, a first-time head coach thrown into a high-pressure job with championship expectations and two superstar egos to manage. This loss wasn't entirely his fault, but it exposed his inexperience. Whether the Lakers give him another shot or look for someone more seasoned remains to be seen. The front office also has tough decisions ahead. Do they gamble again on a top-heavy roster, or shift focus toward balance and depth? The Western Conference isn't getting any easier, with rising stars and tough competition across the board. Standing still could mean falling behind. For Lakers fans, the frustration is real. Another season, another early exit. But unlike previous years, this one ends with more doubt than hope. The LeBron era may be nearing its final chapter, and the franchise will need a clear plan moving forward, or risk another painful reset. It's a bitter end to a season that once held so much promise. A superstar duo, a passionate coach, and a franchise that believed it could go all the way. Instead, they're heading into the offseason with more questions than answers. LeBron's words were honest, maybe even sobering. They were a worthy opponent, he said of the Timberwolves, and we ran into a damn good matchup. It's the matchups, and we ran into a damn good matchup, James said, a team that's been battle-tested. Sometimes even legends can't rewrite the script. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dive sports stories, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think is really to blame for the Lakers' collapse?
Saw in game one. 3-point settling for Boston. Brunson, no. Robinson.
And I was hoping I would get carried to the finals again, just like last year. But I went from Jason Tatum to Jason Braycom tonight.
Jason Tatum had the game in his hands, then lost it. One play, one collapse, and what he did after left everyone stunned. Even crazier. A fire alarm at TD Garden forced an evacuation. No post-game interview, no answers. Tatum just disappeared. After two straight blown leads, Celtics fans aren't just angry, they're stunned. Because whatever this is, it's not the Jason Tatum they thought they knew. The Knicks pulled off a second straight comeback win, 91-90, taking a shocking 2-0 lead in the series. But this wasn't just about the scoreboard. It was about the body language, the collapse, and the fact that one of the league's top stars, Tatum, couldn't deliver when it mattered most. Then came the moment no one saw coming. Right after the game, TD Garden's fire alarm went off. A real emergency evacuation. Media was forced out, fans were rushed out, and Tatum, he didn't speak to reporters. It was a bizarre twist to an already strange night. The franchise star, under pressure, vanished into the chaos. A fire alarm was triggered at TD Garden in the aftermath of the New York Knicks' 91-90 playoff victory over the Boston Celtics on Wednesday night, causing a brief evacuation. Let's rewind. The Celtics looked dominant through 3 quarters. Jalen Brown and Derek White both scored 20. Porzingis, back from illness, gave them key minutes. The ball was moving. The Garden was loud. They were up by 20 with just over a quarter to play. And then it all unraveled. New York took over. Mikal Bridges, scoreless through 3 quarters, exploded for 14 points in the fourth. Josh Hart led all scorers with 23. Karl Anthony Towns was a force with 21 points and 17 rebounds. And Jalen Brunson hit clutch free throws with 12.7 seconds left. Josh Hart finished with a game-high 23 points for the Knicks, while Karl Anthony Towns had 21 points and 17 rebounds. Still, Boston had a chance. Down just 1 in the final seconds, the ball went to Tatum. Everyone expected a hero moment. Instead, Bridges stripped him. Game over. That play, Tatum losing the ball at home with the game on the line, became the defining image of the night. After the game, head coach Joe Mazzulla said, "We didn't execute. We lost our focus." But fans weren't just upset about missed shots. They were upset about the energy, the fight, the fact that their star player looked rattled. This is Jason Tatum we're talking about, a top 5 scorer, an all-NBA talent, the guy who dropped 51 in Game 7 against the Sixers last year. But across Games 1 and 2 of this series, he's shooting 12 for 42. The numbers tell a tough story, but the eye test tells something worse. Tatum's not just missing shots. He looks uncomfortable, hesitant, even passive. It's easy to blame one guy, especially when he's the face of the franchise. But Celtics fans know this team goes as Tatum goes, and right now he's going the wrong way. So why the collapse? Part of it is New York. The Knicks have been relentless. They play tough, physical defense. They crash the boards. They make you work for everything. But Boston has the talent to handle that. They just haven't shown the composure.
I thought I was Kobe on that last shot. He always told me to keep shooting, even if there are 3 players guarding you. So that's what I did.
In both games, the Celtics built big leads, only to blow them with careless turnovers, poor shot selection, and a lack of urgency in the fourth quarter. That brings us back to the fire alarm. It happened minutes after the game ended. Alarms blaring, people rushing out, no press conferences, no post-game quotes from Tatum, just silence and chaos. And in some ways, that's a metaphor for this Celtics team right now. Panic under pressure. Game 3 is set for Saturday at Madison Square Garden. It's a must-win. No team has come back from 0-3 in a playoff series, so this is it. Boston has to respond. Tatum has to respond. He's been here before. He's bounced back before. But the pressure has never been this loud. New York smells blood. Their crowd will be ruthless, and all eyes will be on whether Tatum shows up or fades again. Can the Celtics regroup? Yes. They're still one of the most talented teams in the league, but talent doesn't win playoff games. Toughness does. Composure does. Heart does. The Knicks are showing all 3. The Celtics, they've got 2 days to find them. Tatum doesn't need to score 50 in Game 3. He just needs to lead, play smart, play hard, be the guy his teammates can lean on. Because if he doesn't, this could go from a bad week to a brutal ending. For Boston fans, this isn't just about winning a series. It's about identity, pride, legacy. For the Knicks, it's a chance to rewrite the story, to become more than an underdog, to make the East go through New York. And no one thought we'd be here. Knicks up 2-0, Celtics looking lost, Tatum silent. Being down 2-0 sucks, but we got a great group, and if had to select any guys that get it done, it's the group that we have in our locker room, Brown said. We just got to come out a little bit more poised, take a deep breath, convert offensive rebounds. We missed layups, some easy baskets. But here we are, and now the question isn't just can Boston win Game 3? It's can Jason Tatum rise from this collapse and remind the league who he is? If he does, the Celtics are right back in this series. If not, the season ends much sooner than expected, and the conversations in Boston become a lot more serious. You can feel it in the city already. The media's roaring. Sports radio is on fire. Fans are frustrated, not just by the losses, but by the way they're happening. Nobody's saying Tatum isn't great, but greatness is judged in moments like these. And right now, the moment is bigger than he is. One more thing, this isn't just about basketball, it's about accountability, leadership. Tatum is the face of the franchise, and with that comes a responsibility to face the music even on bad nights. Skipping the post-game availability, even if caused by the fire alarm, didn't sit well with some fans. Right or wrong, perception matters. If Tatum comes out in Game 3 aggressive, decisive, and locked in, it changes everything. Win or lose, showing up with intensity will earn back the crowd. But if he plays passive again, it could define his entire playoff legacy. Saturday night is more than a game. It's a response. It's a statement. It's Jason Tatum's chance to shut everyone up or prove them right. And beyond this series, the bigger question looms. What does this mean for the Celtics moving forward? If they go out early, if they fail to respond, changes will come. That's how Boston operates. They've built a team to win now. Every early exit increases the pressure not just on players, but on the coaching staff and front office too. Will the core stay together? Will Mazzulla be questioned? Will Boston consider reshuffling if they fall short again? These questions don't get asked when you're winning, but 2 losses at home, blown leads, and a star under fire, that's when the heat rises. Right now, everything feels on edge. And for Tatum, this isn't just about one game or one series, this is about legacy. The greats are remembered by how they respond, not when things are easy, but when they're hard. This is his test. And if he passes, the Celtics are dangerous. But if he doesn't, it's not just the season that crumbles, it's the image of what this team was supposed to be. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tell us what you think. Is Tatum still that guy, or is the series about to slip away for good? This is the 2025 NBA playoffs, and it just got personal.
PR staff Steph Curry, officially a left hamstring strain, will not return to tonight's game.
Stephen Curry didn't just leave the court injured. He left the entire NBA world in complete shock. 1 minute he was running the show in Game 1. The next he was clutching his leg and limping off the court. It wasn't just a bad play. It was the kind of moment that makes you wonder if we're watching the end of an era. And what followed? A storm of doubt. Brutal takes from legends and questions no one wanted to ask. Shaquille O'Neal on live TV didn't hold back. Maybe he's starting to break down, he said. You could feel the silence after that, because when a Hall of Famer like Shaq questions your future, people listen. And at 37 years old, with a long list of past injuries, Curry's body might finally be saying it's had enough. Older, maybe he's starting to break down. Shaquille O'Neal stated at halftime on Tuesday. He moves a lot for a 36, 37-year-old. This could be crucial. If I'm Golden State, I definitely want to get this way for him. Rest him in Game 2. Give him a couple more days of rest, possibly bring him back in Game 3. But let's back up for a second. In Game 1 against the Timberwolves, Curry looked solid at first. He scored 13 points in just 13 minutes. Everything felt normal until it wasn't. A sudden stop, a limp. Then the announcement, grade 1 hamstring strain, out for at least a week. That means Game 2, no Curry. Game 3, still questionable. Game 4, maybe, but no one's sure. The Golden State Warriors won Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals 99-88 over the Minnesota Timberwolves, despite losing Steph Curry in the first half with a left hamstring strain. For Warriors fans, it felt like a punch to the gut. This was supposed to be the big push for another title. Instead, they're scrambling to hold the season together without the player who's carried them for over a decade. So how did the team respond? Shockingly, they won, without their star. Buddy Hield exploded for 24 points. Jimmy Butler, who just joined the team, stepped in with 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists. Draymond Green did what he always does, defended like crazy, filled the stat sheet, and rallied the squad. Somehow, the Warriors pulled off a 99-88 win. Buddy Hield turned in another phenomenal performance for Golden State on both ends of the court, scoring 24 points and recording a plus 22, both game highs, in 39 minutes. Jimmy Butler had 20 points, while Green had 18 for the Warriors. And that's what makes this whole situation even crazier, because now we have a team that might actually survive without Curry, maybe even thrive. But at what cost? What does it say when your franchise player goes down and you still win? Is this the beginning of a new era or just a lucky game? Draymond Green doesn't think it's luck. After the game, he looked straight into the camera and said, "We won't panic." He praised Jimmy Butler, saying he's fully capable of leading a team. That wasn't just talk, it was a statement. "We know what Jimmy's capable of," Green told reporters on Tuesday. "Jimmy's capable of carrying a team. He carried a team to the finals twice. We won't panic." This team believes they're bigger than one player now. And honestly, they might be. But let's not get it twisted. Losing Steph isn't something you just brush off. He's the heart of this dynasty. He changed the game. Without him, the Warriors are different. Maybe not worse, but definitely different. And that's where things get uncomfortable. Because if the Warriors keep winning without Curry, what happens next? Is this the start of the team moving on from their biggest star? Or does this just show how deep and dangerous they've become? On the flip side, if they start losing, every headline is going to scream the same thing. They needed Steph. That's the pressure Curry's under now. He's not just fighting to heal. He's fighting to stay relevant, to prove he can still lead, that he's not done. And at his age, that's not easy. Fans are divided. Some are holding on to hope, saying Steph just needs rest and he'll bounce back like always. Others are bracing for what feels like the inevitable. One injury too many? Curry's track record isn't helping either. In just the last few years, he's dealt with thumb problems, ankle tweaks, and now this hamstring. He played in the 2024 Olympics too. Great for Team USA, but terrible for rest. His body hasn't had a real break in years.